Yet another video. We are back. We are now 2 months ahead of the last one, and it's actually unbelievable how focused this last 2 months has been in terms of just it's all been centered around one thing, which is pretty much the title of that video. I think the title of the video is going to be something like I spontaneously went to San Francisco. Something like that. Yeah, let's just start. I have my laptop with me. I have a bunch of notes of all the things I'm going to talk about. This time I'm not going to try to limit the video because I really think this one's going to be a long one for some reason. So let's get started. Basically, this is what happened, alright? Let me give you the backstory behind this. So I got a friend. That lives in San Francisco. He doesn't live there anymore. He was working in banking and he ended up getting a job in New York, which is obviously sick. So then what happened was, as he was trying to move to New York, in the interim, he was with me in Toronto, like in terms of not living with me, but just he was like near me, just chilling in his house. But he was in Toronto, like between moving jobs. Like he was still working at that one company because of COVID. Things weren't returning back to the office, so he was in Canada. All right, cool. Problem is that he rented out that one SF house until the end of September. Now this is like August 23, 24. This is basically a month before his lease ends. Out of nowhere, I'm just focusing on one thing, which is learning. I think I talked about it before. I might have not actually, but I was just trying to focus on building my skills, focus on some brand building. And out of nowhere, bro, my boy calls me. He's like, "Yo, I'm probably gonna show the text like right here. He's like, "Yo, do you want to go to SF? I'll pay for your flight, no joke." Something like that. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? What the hell's going on? That doesn't even make sense. And the reason why he even asked me was because I've always wanted to go to SF. I think I talked about it before about how like I talked about the jump out of exposure of working at FANG and working at a tech company in SF in the Bay Area and just in general was. And there's like so many other reasons. I basically thought that there was such an interesting congregation of people that would be at SF. So that's why I was so enamored by it, by the concept of just going there and meeting the people there and just seeing what's happening there. So the fact that he messaged me, I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like this is so spontaneous, so random. I had like so many plans to do that month. I wish I could show you like my calendar. It's not. I didn't like take a picture of it, but it was just like filled with stuff to do in the next month. Dude, I literally took all that shit and just moved it all, and I ended up going. I made my decision within like 2 hours. Just like was like, you know what, let's do it, and then booked my flight like that week. So basically when I was going, the intentions that I had was to see how it feels like to actually be there. Because I wanted to know, like if I decide to move there for whatever opportunities, such as the like-minded people or the opportunities in terms of funding or investing or getting a job or just the serendipity that just comes from being there. I wanted to see how it just was to live there. Just like what the people was like, the environment, how it was, the general vibe that I got out of it. That was like the first goal. The second thing was to just meet some cool ass people. The third thing was to just move out my friend's stuff, because that was like the main reason why I'm going there, right? Because that was I didn't even tell you, the reason why he wanted me to go was because he needed me to go to SF to move out his things, because he couldn't go himself, and because he didn't get like I don't think he was like fully vaccinated, and like he was trying to get his vaccine, but it wasn't like like basically it was gonna take too long for him to get it in order to get back to SF, and it was just gonna be like a whole hassle. And I ended up getting he ended up getting to the point where he just told me about it, and it was like, yo, you want to go? And I'm like, I'm down, bro. And basically that was pretty much the objective, to like go clear out the entire house for like the next people that are like leasing the property. Um, and we'll talk about that. That was very interesting. Then I get there. What's interesting is that the moment I get there, as soon as I walk in, wait, let me actually see. Should I talk about anything between that two things? Oh yeah. No, I should talk about something I didn't mention. Yo, dude, I spent so long planning. I spent like 2 weeks planning for this trip, doing research about like COVID restrictions, COVID planning in terms of like what documents I have to bring. Am I even allowed to travel? Because I don't even know if travel for leisure was allowed. Um, like all types of things. I was looking at like what to bring to SF, the temperature, like the weather. I was thinking about like what should I actually do when I'm there, the types of people I should meet, who should I reach out to, stuff like that. I spent, bro, 2 weeks like just planning. It was so crazy. In my opinion, I actually regret planning for that long. I think it was better to just go and just like put yourself in the chaos and just do it. So basically, I go to the airport. I'm in Toronto, so I just take the Up Express all the way to the airport. I I go into the airport, and bro, the line is super, super, super long. Like, I might be like putting pictures as I'm talking. So like just like dude, it was crazy. I'm just gonna actually be more detailed. So the line was super, super long just to just get in through the security. And then after security was customs, and that took like extra long as well. And because I knew somebody, at least I met somebody in the security lane. They actually got ahead of me somehow, and I ended up like cutting the line and getting to them, and bro, I was still like 2 minutes away from missing my flight. But no matter, customs went well, no issues there. Get to my flight, sit down, preparing for like a 6 hour flight. There was a middle seat that was open. I was on the window seat. Some other guy was on the other seat. It was pretty chill because there was no one in the middle. You can get nice and comfy, and so I just like rested, as well as watched like Goodfellas, and then just got to SF. Now I'm in SF. I get off. I take the BART all the way to Union Square, and then I literally go in. The first thing I do is I get a phone plan, just like for the US. I get the phone plan, pay like $50 or some shit like that for like unlimited data, unlimited texting and calling, and then walk all the way to the house, which was like an hour and something just to walk there. And this was the first time I experienced the hills, dog. That was crazy. The hills were like the first time I experienced them just completely killed me, because I had freaking carry on, and I had a heavy ass carry on and a heavy ass personal bag, and just walking up, dude, it was like the worst because I was walking up the hills and then going down again, and then walking up and then going down again, and I'm just like, whoa, what's the terrain where I could just consistently go up and not need to just go down and up and down and up, because I'm going up for no reason just to go back down. So it was very, very like tough. I ended up getting to like the place. As soon as I get there, I see both my roommates right away. Like both of them get out of their rooms, which is so interesting. Talk to them, super chill guys. And let me see what I wrote down here, because I don't want to like be way too detailed and go through like every single thing that was happening. So I met with those two roommates, super cool guys. They were both software engineers. One of them was a hardware engineer, one was a software engineer, but basically both of them were in tech. I end up the next day meeting one of my high school friends, which is pretty interesting. I haven't talked to this guy in like 8 years, and that was like super cool to like see him after so long, because last time I talked to him I was like a sophomore in high school, and it was really, really interesting to see like the changes, like that happened within him as well as within his group of friends, because I remember like the group of friends he used to have as well, it was just super interesting. I actually I think it would be so interesting to have like this reunion, this high school reunion where you just meet everyone again. But yeah, so what I also did during that time was that, after I met that guy, one of my roommates literally just invited me to like his like party because he just moved to like a new house, and it was so interesting because I think that was my first time that I ever drank before, like ever. And I talked about this with other people later on, and they were just like, "Oh, what kind of freaking drink did you have?" That's what I asked. I had like a fireball, and I took like 4 shots of that, and literally didn't feel too too much. Like it was just I just felt like this buzz, and that was it. And that was interesting because for my first time, I thought that I would get a little more, I'd feel the effects more, but I didn't. And what's interesting is also I made sure that I wasn't like out of control that day because I haven't, since I never did it before. I was with people I didn't know. I was like, you know what, let me just keep it easy. But bro, these guys, there's the roommate, and then there was like three guys that were like that was like his buddies, his friends. And bro, like every single one of them were just such cool guys. If you guys are watching this, like those friends, if you guys are watching this, you guys were amazing. I loved your hospitality so much. You guys were super super caring and hospitable and kind, and you guys made that night really really sick, really comfortable. So then, what happened after was that happened, and then I realized I'm like, yo, like now that I'm traveling, I actually did this before the trip. I was like, yo, let me get all these like traveling apps and all this shit. And I ended up even like downloading like all these like dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. I didn't like take them seriously or anything. I just wanted to see like what was out there because it was my first time like even using them. I've never used a dating app in my entire life, and I realized like how like the problems within the actual apps, like why people aren't satisfied with them. I thought the best app ever, though, out of all of them, like by a significant amount, was Hinge. Like Hinge is over here, Bumble's like over here, and then Tinder's like over here. But Hinge is like crazy, so interesting how it works. Um, so that happened, and what was interesting also was that I downloaded 2 other apps that was specifically meant for meeting people, and one was a Bumble BFF. So Bumble, it's like still in the Bumble app, but it was like the BFF version. So I go on the BFF part of the app, and you just swipe right or left on people, and it's guys or girls, it doesn't matter. And I listen, like I literally only swiped right on 3 people, and those 3 people were matches. And what's crazy is I met with 2 of them, and I had like 50, more than 50. Like I think it was capped at 50, but like so many freaking matches, I couldn't even like keep up. It was too much. Like I realized that I can go anywhere, download the Bumble BFF app, and just meet people all the time. Doesn't even matter. It's so easy. That like blew my mind. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I can meet 50 people just like all at once. So end up meeting both the guys, super super cool guys. One of them I had like deep dish pizza with. The other person I went and had like some brown food with. It was super interesting. And then the other app was called We3. We3 is probably one of my favorite apps in terms of like its potential. I actually like it so much. I actually believe in its potential so much that I feel like I'm gonna reach out to the founder and be like, yo, listen, like if I can help you in any way that I can, just let me know. Like whether it's on the marketing effort, whether it's on the development effort. I would love to work at that company because I think that its potential is crazy. It only has like 100K users, but its potential is actually truly crazy. There's a lot of really interesting things that can happen just by using that app. So that was that app, week 3. I ended up meeting this one guy. He's another software engineer. He was a super cool guy too. He like knew a lot of people in Toronto, which was interesting in terms of like the people that worked at his company. But yeah, literally every person I met was super sick. In terms of just like the vibe, you know what I mean? Like it was there was no like weird or like bad people that I met. It was like super cool. So that was like in terms of that weekend, like what happened, like all the apps that I downloaded or whatever. It was super fun to like do everything. I never actually ended up getting to explore the entire place, like the entire city. And then the weekday started. The weekday starts, and I'm literally just okay. So yeah, so the weekday starts. And because I'm tutoring, I continue tutoring while I'm traveling. And that basically made me busy from like a certain period to another block of time. Like I think it was like a 2 3 hour period for like 2 or 3 days. And what happened was I tried to like plan my day, like my week out, because I wanted to like do a bunch of things. So I ended up going to Stanford on one of the days. I ended up going to Berkeley on another one of the days. I ended up going to the Facebook HQ and biked all the way from there. And we'll talk about that. I go to like this student co-op in Berkeley, which is super interesting. Um, and let's see. What's cool is that I was able to literally tutor at the campuses, it was just so sick to see, to literally be in an area that was so beautiful, like Stanford. Beautiful campus. Like I couldn't even believe how beautiful the campus was. And me just tutoring and just working there. It felt pretty productive. When I go to Stanford, I literally met like a dozen people. Just like went and like randomly just like asked them for either directions and just like talked to them. Got a few Instagrams. I like the people that I met were just super, super kind. And let me actually like mention something really interesting here. When I went to Stanford, this was the first school I went to out of all the schools. I felt like this inferiority or this outcast mentality in terms of just like, first of all, Stanford's like such a sick place, such a beautiful university. I feel like because I didn't go to like this top name university like Stanford, that all the people there are super sick. And also the other thing was, not only are they super sick, if I'm not thought of as one of them while I talk to them, that's going to be even weirder. So in the beginning, I tried not to like mention that I was an outsider, that I was a visitor. And like when it actually got down to it, like when they asked, like I just like mentioned it, and they were like, the reaction they had was so much different than what I expected. It was so much more welcoming. It was so much more kind, and it made me realize that I could just be myself and just like, just like act however I actually like authentically act. And so I did that, and it made everything so much more comfortable. I would just like go talk to random people, meet random people, have like really interesting conversations with people, and let's see. That experience was super interesting. I was like thinking, I was like, just imagine if I literally just came to this campus every day and just made it a goal to meet 10 people every single day. Like your life would change, because you'd be meeting people that are like, they'll be potentially like the like-minded people that you were looking for, or like potential business partners or startup founders, or people that can help you like see something different about life, or whatever it is, like, or like it could just be people that you just build very strong relationships with for the rest of your life. So I thought that was like really, really cool. Whenever I would like, for example, so they would be the type of people that whenever I would go back to like San Francisco, those are the people that you could chill with. So like that's how I thought about it. It was like really interesting. So yeah, that happened. Went to Stanford, got like a bike because that shit was unbelievably big, that campus. I went to rented that bike. It was one of the best decisions. That bike was pretty good. I ended up renting it for like 3 4 days. So I actually ended up leaving Stanford, like went all the way back to the city with the bike, and took like the Caltrain back and just took the bike with me. And that was very, very useful, because then when I went to Berkeley, I took the bike with me as well, and that was really useful as well, because Berkeley's campus was also pretty big. I actually couldn't check out Berkeley's campus fully because I was just like super, super busy that day. I went actually to Berkeley to meet up with another cooperative, a student housing cooperative called BSC, Berkeley Student Cooperative, I think. And that's one of the largest, I think it is the largest cooperative in North America, student housing cooperative in North America. And I think we're like the second or third biggest, I think, for student housing, the building I'm currently in. And it was pretty interesting because someone from my building, the staff, knew someone from that building, and then I had a meeting with that person, and that guy has been like in all types of cooperatives all over like California, and I think all over the United States too. So that was like a really interesting conversation that I had with him. That was enlightening. Got like a bunch of interesting souvenirs from that place. Got like all this stuff. Got like a bunch of like I don't know what they're called. You put it on your chest. But I got all this, got like a pen, got like this sticker, got like the brochure, you know. Oh shoot. Yeah, so far now we're 4 hours in. Sorry, 4 days in. 4 days into our trip. 4 or 5 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 6 days. 6 days into our trip. And now this is like where that trip is like pretty much almost ending. I have 10 days total or 11 days total that I was there. And I had to start moving out. And now what happens is I start listing things on Facebook Marketplace. I start posting items for free on Facebook Marketplace, start selling some stuff. Because the main idea here, the main goal was to just completely just move everything out, just get rid of everything. Most of the things I threw out, but there were some things like selling tables or like couches or sofas or whatever it was. Something that actually might sell, I put it on Facebook Marketplace. With things like mattresses and etc. Like those wouldn't sell as much. So I tried, but like I realized like it wouldn't work. So I just like threw them out. But basically, I started just posting things on Facebook Marketplace. Realized that they weren't selling, and so I started bringing the price lower, and it just got to the point where I was realizing that I'm not selling things for the sake of making profit or making money off of it. The reason why I'm selling this is to get rid of it. All I'm trying to do is get rid of whatever is here so that the house can get cleaner. And that was actually something that I realized too late, because I ended up selling things for super expensive and a lot of days passed by, and I realized that I should have just posted it for super cheap, had people pick it up that day, and that I would have been done with it. So I spent like four days straight just selling stuff. Then what happened was, let's see, bro, I sold a lot of things. It was like 20 hours worth of just work, just doing selling, and the actual meeting the people and like talking to them, and like so that was completely outside of the 20 hours. And in the end, I ended up selling like $2,000 worth of stuff, which is insane. The rest was all thrown out. There was 2 days, so the first half of Thursday, where I went back to Stanford to like return the bike, and that was when I actually like got off from the Caltrain. I got off of Menlo Park, biked all the way to Facebook HQ, and obviously couldn't get in, but just like biked around it. And you probably could see like an image, or maybe not, but basically I did that, and from there I biked all the way to Stanford. And then I'm gonna bike from Stanford to the Googleplex in Mountain View, but I realized it was like so far away. And I realized also that I needed to get back home because people were gonna come pick up stuff from Facebook Marketplace. So I'm like, fuck. The other thing was that I was gonna meet up with one of my friends, he wasn't like my friend. He was actually someone that I like, one of my mutual friends, that apparently was an SF that lived all the way in San Jose, and I ended up not able to like meet that guy because I had to like sell all this stuff on Facebook Marketplace. So people were just coming in. I like probably messaged over 100 people, or 150 people, and met up with at least like 20-30 people during that time. I ended up clearing the entire place. Probably see some pictures, probably not. Super clean. Ended up hiring some cleaners. They got the job done, and I had like a few things left in my house, or in that house, and I just like got rid of all of it. Like, just either threw it out or gave it away for free. But then there was one day on the Sunday, I'm pretty sure, once the cleaners were done, that I decided to just go out, and I'm like, yo, I literally haven't explored the area yet of the city. Like, I've explored everywhere outside the city. I went to South Bay, I went to freaking Berkeley. I just never went to like the tourist spots, just to like bike around them. I didn't visit the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever. So what I did was I said, you know what, let me also try these e-bikes for the first time. And dude, I tried these fucking e-bikes. And these lift bikes were so sick. It made me feel like I was like some GTA character that was like going faster than all the normal cars. You know, like you can just like speed as much as you want and like no one gives a shit. I was literally biking at 2 times the speed. I felt like I had cheat codes. I felt like I was cheating or some shit in like the world, cheating in life. and it was just such an amazing experience. I literally biked from where I was at all the way around, went all the way to Ghirardelli Square, and I'll talk about what happened there. I biked all the way there. After that, I biked all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge, and then after that, I went like up that forest. I don't know what it's called, but you'll probably see like my lift progress. But I basically went all the way to Golden Gate Park from there. From the Golden Gate Bridge, I biked all the way to Golden Gate Park. Didn't go inside, but just from there, I just like went home. That was amazing. That was actually so sick because it wouldn't have been able to be done without an e-bike because there were so many hills, and I was going up those hills with such ease. So that was super exciting. The e-bike. So let's talk about like where I actually went now. I literally went so downhill as I was going to Fisherman's Wharf that like, dude, the hill was so steep. I had my brakes on like most of the time, like almost full brakes as I was going down the hills because it was so crazy. And then I get to Fisherman's Wharf, beautiful area, like just it was just like breathtaking what I was seeing. I go all the way to Ghirardelli Square, and then I go to that little, whatever it's called. Let me actually search this up. It's like that little thing where you're like, it's like this, it's in front of Alcatraz. It's this little walkway, and it like curves around like a tail, and then you are just like surrounded by water, and then you're just seeing everything. Here, I'll tell you right now. I'm almost there. It was called the Municipal Pier. So I go to the Municipal Pier with my bike, and bro, I'm gonna show you this video. I was literally just surrounded. From my perspective, I was surrounded by just pure beauty. I was overtaken by an overwhelming sense of awe. I was looking in front of me, I see Alcatraz. I look to the right, I see like all these like sailboats. I look to behind me, and I see just like a beautiful hilltop of just houses and parks and stuff. I look to my other side, and it's like a forest. I look to my left, and I see the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm just like, bro, where am I? What? And the Golden Gate Bridge was like this shadowy, smoky bridge in the distance, and it felt like I was in a game, bro. Like no, like I'm not even like exaggerating when I say this. I literally felt like I was in a game. I was like, whoa, this is like, where am I? And I was like starting to get tears. I was like saying this. I was like, bro, this is so unbelievable. And I think that's pretty much what I think people experience when they go traveling. I think that's what makes traveling so compelling. Yeah, that was a crazy moment. So then I go there. I'm just like super ecstatic after that. Just like, I was just so happy, which was so funny. And then I ended up like meeting with one of my friends, and then after that I go to the Golden Gate Bridge, and you'll see like me biking there, and you'll see me actually there. And what's crazy is that the pictures I'm showing, it looks like it's close, but it's so far away, and it's so huge. That's literally why it looks so close, because it's so fucking huge. And I just marveled at like the engineering behind this. Like one of my friends put this really nicely. It was so grand. Grand was like the perfect word to describe this. And you just get overwhelmed by it. You're just like, what the hell? And I started like looking at buildings in the same way. I was just like, whoa, like I'm like, I look at these buildings, like I see a building in front of me. I look at these buildings, and I take them for granted, but when I just really contemplate the building, it's so grand that something like this could have been built. So then I just like I bike all the way from the Presidio all the way down to the Golden Gate Park, and then go home. So yeah, that was really interesting. So the last thing I'll say about San Francisco is I spent a lot of time biking there, and that shit was so fun. It was so fun. It was just, it made me just love biking. It made me realize how much I love biking. I biked in South Bay. I biked in freaking Berkeley. I biked in freaking the city. Oh, just amazing. The only thing I'd say about San Francisco that I didn't like, obviously, was the massive homeless population. And I couldn't believe, I was actually completely surprised. I got caught completely off guard at how many homeless people and how dirty some of the places were, like the Tenderloin area. I was like, wow. And I was stupidly biking across the area at like 11 p.m. Because I was coming back from Stanford, and it was so nasty. It was so nasty. I don't even want to get into it, but whatever. After San Francisco, I didn't even mention this, but I had plans of going to Los Angeles, and then also from Los Angeles, I was gonna go drive all the way to Vegas. And the main reason why I was even gonna go to these two places was because I had family in both places, and both of them were originally from like the person from Los Angeles was actually originally from Vegas. And so like I took a flight all the way to Los Angeles, went to UCLA, studied there, tutored there. Bro, one of my favorite campuses. So many study spots. It was pretty much open anywhere. Unlike Stanford, I think you could have like basically went to any building, unlike needing like an access card. Biked around. It was amazing. I loved the campus. I also like participated in like some random debate of like socialism versus capitalism, which was super funny, for like an hour and a half. Almost lost my phone. That was a pretty crazy story. But yeah, also went to Las Vegas, just spent some time with family, went to like Fremont Street, went to the casinos. I ended up going to the place where The Weeknd shot the Heartless video. I actually am surprised I didn't take pictures of it. I took like a little, like, not like that, the main hall, but like I just took like this one random side building of it. So yeah, like that I was with family most of the time. And that pretty much, I think, was the entire contents of what I did. So let's wrap this video up with the lessons that I learned, or at least the realizations that I had. Give me like 5 seconds. I feel like I've been talking nonstop. What I didn't realize while I was working, like tutoring, was that I only tutored a few hours every week, like 6 hours every week for 3 weeks. I was in the U.S. and I just couldn't believe that just by tutoring for 6 hours, I was actually able to fund my trip. And that like gave me an unbelievable perspective change. Started realizing that I have actually so much leverage that, unlike people that work at a job, if I want to travel tomorrow, tonight, I can choose to do so. I can literally just board a plane and that's it. I don't have to tell anyone what the hell's happening. I have my own schedule. Even if I'm meeting someone in like 10 minutes, I can push it 15 minutes later. Like if I wanted to, obviously that's very unprofessional. I'm just saying like the power of what I have to do. I could just do that without any crazy consequences. And that like, that was like the type of realization that I had. I was like, wow, I am really living the 4-hour work week. I can literally go anywhere I want and I'm just tutoring and I'm just making a decent income from it. And that made me realize that I don't need to work at a company right away. I don't have to rush myself. I talked about this last video about how I wanted to work at Fang and how I'm optimizing for that. But here's what I didn't realize. What I didn't realize was there's actually something that has higher leverage, which is, it's not about brand, because the reason why I wanted to go to Fang was because of the brand mainly, as well as the compensation, as well as like the exposure, all that, right? But there's something that has even higher leverage than all of that. So that I can go to Fang after I do this thing, which is the ability to create fast MVPs. So just that. The reason why this is so high leverage is because I have so many ideas that come every week. Every week I have a new idea about what to build. The problem is I can't build it. I literally can't even test the idea because I can't build it. And it costs too much money to have someone else build it. And I just find that so funny that I just think to myself, like, how am I going to be of any value to anybody if I can't build anything, like, end to end? You know what I mean? I want to build, like, I don't want to just build like shitty web pages or shitty web apps. I actually want to be able to create things that are high grade, like really, really good, high quality. So the ability to create fast MVPs is super useful because who knows, you make a product, you put it out there, just put it out there, right? Like, that's the leverage. You don't have to do anything after that. You put it out there, all of a sudden it blows up, all of a sudden you get a shitload of users, and then you can monetize it, and then you don't even have to work anywhere. You start your own startup. You know what I mean? So that's just how I thought about it. I was like, there's so much more leverage that comes from being able to create fast MVPs. Whether it's working at a startup and helping someone there, whether it's starting your own, making a bunch of products, or just being valuable to anybody. If I work at a job, like a job at a big company, I just have to master LeetCode, but that doesn't really provide any crazy value. This way, if I actually know how to create fast MVPs, then I can actually work at a company, like a big company, get all the compensation and benefits or whatever, and get all the exposure, but at the same time have the potential of creating something whenever I actually have the idea. That's what I realized was the higher leverage. And so I said, okay, Fang could just wait. Let me focus on this first, and then we can worry about everything else. What I also didn't realize was that how big the university campuses were until I went to the Bay Area, as well as UCLA. The university that I went to was Ryerson. Ryerson has a puny campus compared to Stanford, compared to UCLA, and compared to Berkeley. I was completely overwhelmed at the sheer size of the campuses. Like, Stanford was so big that it took me 30 minutes to walk from one side to like halfway through the campus, something like that. It was some crazy shit. Maybe one side to the other, I don't even remember. But that's how, like, I didn't realize how big these places were. What I also realized was something I mentioned before, which was that dating apps are useless for guys because you're immediately put at a disadvantage. And I talked about this, basically Tinder or Bumble, it's not really, in Hinge, it's not really useful. Because immediately you're just put at you're not really put equal with somebody. Like, somebody doesn't really want you as much as you want them. It's actually like this. There's 10 guys that want this person, and then you're one of those 10 guys. So it's not very useful for you. The same people, the same girls would literally want to talk to you and go out with you if you just met with them in person, because you give them more of an opportunity to provide your value. I also mentioned this before as well, which was I didn't realize how much I love biking. I love electric bikes, and I'm probably going to get one soon because of how fucking fast they are and how nice they are, how comfortable they are. And especially here, since there's no hills, you just get move so fast. It's just gonna feel so good. And I was right about meeting the cool people in SF and about how it really is a congregation of smart, highly intelligent, and like-minded people. I just thought about it like this. Most people that go to SF aren't even from SF. Therefore, they're by themselves. They are highly intelligent. They have a bunch of high-paying jobs. They're probably very like-minded in terms of self-development and tech or whatever it is. Obviously, this is like an echo chamber, you can call it. But my point is that it's a physical manifestation of this, which is really interesting. And finally, what was the last part? Like-minded. And they're young, like they're my age. Yeah, exactly. And there are people that aren't even from there, which is cool. So really, really good potential to meet smart and cool people in the city, or whatever like city that is like SF. Just exploring made me want to explore Toronto more. I realized that I didn't even explore my own city because of COVID. And like the restaurants that I tried in SF, or like the places that I went to, or the people that I talked to, or the events that I went to, I realized I have not done anything like that in Toronto. So I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna freaking go crazy when I go to Toronto. And I actually have something in the works now. And now I've like solidified exactly what I want to be doing, which is that I want to focus on my engineering ability. I want to focus on being able to provide value by creating fast MVPs. And after that, then I could worry about moving to a tech hub and actually providing my value. It might take a few months, it might take a year, I don't know how long it's going to take. But I just know that this is just something that I'm going to enjoy doing. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at now. I'm vibing. I'm taking things a little more easy because I'm realizing how, like just by clearing that schedule for like 3 weeks and just like putting everything to the side, I truly realized like all the time that I have is my own time. I don't have to do anything. I can do whatever the hell I want. You know what I mean? That's how I thought about it. And so I'm just taking things a little more chill, but I'm also super focused on being a better engineer. One last note. One of the things that I also noticed a lot about just exploring and just going on the trip, just traveling, was that there's a whole side to me that I actually have not developed, which is like this creative, artistic, explorative, experimentative person. Like that dimension of me has not been developed that much. It's because I'm so focused on trying to get out of survival, or trying to build leverage, or trying to understand what my objectives are in life, and trying to focus on being self-aware that I didn't even notice that. Such as like exploring different foods, just like trying to understand, like getting this passion for just all the things that people do, like whether it's hiking, whether it's fitness, whether it's being a foodie, or whatever it is, like all of this stuff I feel like will come after I've established my leverage, after I've established the value that I provide. After it comes after. It's better to do what I'm doing before, and then all that comes after, like the musical instruments, like learning about music, whatever it is. Like there's so many things that I want to look into, right? Like one of the things that I would love to do is just like go and just like meet different personalities in the world, because I'm so fascinated by personalities. So many different things I have yet to do that I want to do, like learn how to play piano and one more. There's like so many more. But basically, my point is that all of this comes after. I see a lot of people doing it like while they're just chilling, but I don't know. Like for me, I just realized that I've been missing a lot of it, and I feel like I can do it after. But that's the plan. That's where I'm at right now. Anyways, with that, I will see everyone later. Probably catch up in another 2 months, November, December, basically end of the year. For my next video will probably be like an end of the year video, reflections of 2021, something like that. Anyways.